Forgot to turn this thing back on. And we will worship and return to you. Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering and laid it on Isaac his son. And he took in his hand the fire and the knife. So the two of them walked on together. Isaac spoke to Abraham his father and said, "My father." And he said, "Here I am, my son." And he said, "Behold, the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for the burnt offering?" Abraham said, "God will provide for himself the lamb for the burnt offering, my son." So the two of them walked on together. Then they came to the place of which God had told him, and Abraham built the altar there and arranged the wood, and bound his son Isaac and laid him on the altar. Hey, Alicia, good morning. On the top of the wood. Verse 10, Abraham stretched out his hand and took the knife to slay his son. But the angel of the Lord called to him from heaven and said, "Abraham, Abraham." And he said, "Here I am." He said, "Do not stretch out your hand against the lad, and do nothing to him. For now I know that you fear God, since you have not withheld your son, your only son, from me." Verse 13, Then Abraham raised his eyes and looked, and behold, him and a ram caught in a thicket by his thorns. And Abraham went and took the ram and offered him up for a burnt offering in the place of his son. Abraham called the name of that place, "The Lord will provide." As it is said to this day, "In the mount of the Lord it will be provided." Verse 15, Then the angel of the Lord called to Abraham a second time from heaven and said, "By myself I have sworn, declares the Lord, because you have done this thing and have not withheld your son, your only son. Indeed, I will greatly bless you, and I will greatly multiply your seed as the stars of the heavens and of the sand which is on the seashore. And your seed shall possess the gate of their enemies." Verse 18. Hey, Rashida, good morning. "In your seed all the nations of the earth shall be blessed, because you have obeyed my voice." So Abraham returned to his young men, and they arose and went together to Beersheba. And Abraham lived at Beersheba. Verse 20. Now it came about after these things that it was told Abraham, saying, "Behold, Milcah also was born children to your brother Nahor. Uz his firstborn, and Buz his brother, and Kemuel the father of Abram, and Chist, and Hazel, and Pildash, and Jidlaph, and Bethuel. Bethuel became the father of Rebekah. These 8 Milcah bore to Nahor, Abraham's brother. His concubine, whose name was Ramah, also bore Tebah, and Gaham, and Tahash, and Maacah. Lord. Chapter 23. Death and burial of Sarah. Now Sarah lived 127 years. These were the years of the life of Sarah. Sarah died in Kiriath Arba, this is Hebron, in the land of Canaan. And Abraham went in to mourn for Sarah and to weep for her. Then Abraham rose from his dead and spoke to the sons of Heth, saying, "I am a stranger and a sojourner among you. Give me a burial site among you, that I may bury my dead out of my sight." Lord. The sons of Heth answered Abraham, saying to him, "Hear us, my Lord. You are a mighty prince among us. Bury your dead in the choicest of the graves. None of us will refuse you his grave for burying your dead." So Abraham rose and bowed to the people of the land, the sons of Heth. And he spoke with them, saying, If it is your wish for me to bury my dead out of my sight, hear me and approach. Ephron the son of Zohar for me, that he may give me the cave of Machpelah, which he owns, which is at the end of this field. For the full price, let him give it to me in your presence for a burial site. Now Ephraim was sitting among the sons of Heth, and Ephraim the Hittite answered Abraham in the hearing of the sons of Heth, even of all who went in at the gate of the city, saying, No, my Lord, hear me. I give you the field, and I give you the cave that is in it. In the presence of the sons of my people, I give it to you. Bury your dead. And Abraham bowed before the people of the land. Verse 13. He spoke to Ephraim in the hearing of the people of the land, saying, If you will only listen to me, I will give the price of the field. Accept it from me, that I may bury my dead there. Then Ephraim answered Abraham, saying to him, My Lord, listen to me. A piece of the land worth 400 shekels of silver, which is that between me and you. So bury your dead. For Abraham listened to Ephraim, and Abraham weighed out for Ephraim the silver which he had named in the hearing of the sons of Heth, 400 shekels of silver, commercial standard. So Ephraim's field, which was in Machpelah, which faced Mamre, the field and the cave which was in it, and all the trees which were in the field that were within the confines of its border, were deeded over to Abraham for a possession in the presence of the sons of Heth, before all who went in the gate of the city. After this, Abraham buried Sarah his wife in the cave of the field at Machpelah, facing Mamre, that is Hebron, in the land of Canaan. So the field of the cave that is in it were deeded over to Abraham for a burial site by the sons of Heth. All right, we're in chapter 24, a bride for Isaac. Now Abraham was old, advanced in age, and the Lord had blessed Abraham in every way. Abraham said to his servant, the oldest of his household, who had charge of all that he owned, Please place your hand under my thigh, and I will make you swear by the Lord, the God of heaven and the God of earth, that you shall not take a wife for my son from the daughters of Canaanites, among whom I live, but you will go to my country and to my relatives, and take a wife for my son Isaac. Verse 5, the servant said to him, Suppose the woman is not willing to follow me to this land. Should I take your son back to the land where you came? Then Abraham said to him, Beware that you do not take my son back there. The Lord, the God of heaven, who took me from my father's house and from the land of my birth, and who spoke to me and who swore to me, saying, To your descendants I will give this land. He will send his angel before you, and you will take a wife for my son from there. But if the woman is not willing to follow you, then you will be free from this my oath. Only do not take my son back there. For the servant placed his hand under the thigh of Abraham, his master, and swore to him concerning this matter. We're at verse 10, chapter 24, verse 10. Then the servant took 10 camels from the camels of his master, and set out with a variety of good things of his master in his hand. And he arose and went to Mesopotamia, to the city of Nahor. He made the camels kneel down outside the city by the well of water at evening time, the time when women go out to draw water. He said, O Lord, the God of my master Abraham, please grant me success today and show loving kindness to my master Abraham. Behold, I am standing by the spring, and the daughters of the men of the city are coming out to draw water. Now may it be that the girl whom I say, Please let down your jar so that I may drink, and who answers, Drink, and I will water your camels also. May she be the one whom you have appointed for your servant Isaac. And by this I will know that you have shown loving kindness to my master. This is verse 15, chapter 24. Before he had finished speaking, behold, Rebekah was born to Bethuel, the son of Milcah, the wife of Abraham's brother Nahor, came out with a joy on her shoulder. The girl was very beautiful, a virgin, and no man had had relations with her. And she went down to the spring and filled her jar and came up. Then the servant ran to meet her and said, "Please let me drink a little water from your jar." She said, "Drink, my lord." And she quickly lowered her jar to her hand and gave him a drink. Now when she had finished giving him a drink, she said, "I will draw also for your camels until they have finished drinking." So she quickly emptied her jar into the trough and ran back to the well to draw, and she drew for all his camels. Meanwhile, the man was gazing at her in silence to know whether the Lord had made his journey successful or not. When the camels had finished drinking, the man took a gold ring weighing a half a shekel and 2 bracelets for her wrist, weighing 10 shekels in gold, and said, "Whose daughter are you? Please tell me, is there room for us to lodge in your father's house?" She said to him, "I am the daughter of Bethuel, the son of Milcah, whom she bore to Nahor." Again she said to him, "We have plenty of both straw and feed, and room to lodge in." Then the man bowed low and worshiped the Lord. He said, "Blessed be the Lord, the God of my master Abraham, who has not forsaken his loving kindness and his truth toward my master. As for me, the Lord has guided me in the way of my father's the Lord has guided me in the way to my house, to the house of my father's brother." Verse 28. Then the girl ran and told her mother's household about these things. Now Rebekah had a brother whose name was Laban. "Hey Rita, good morning." And Laban ran outside to the man at the spring. When he saw the ring and the bracelets on his sister's wrist, and when he heard the words of Rebekah, his sister, saying, "This is what the man said to me," he went to the man, and behold, he was standing by the camels at the spring. And he said, "Come in. Blessed be the Lord. Why do you stand outside, since I have prepared the house and a place for the camels?" So the man entered the house. Then Laban unloaded the camels, and he gave straw and feed to the camels, and water to wash his feet, and the feet of the men who were with him. We're at verse 23, chapter 24, verse 33. But when food was set before him to eat, he said, "I will not eat until I have told my business." And he said, "Speak on." So he said, "I am Abraham's servant. The Lord has greatly blessed my master so that he has become rich. And he has given him flocks and herds and silver and gold, and servants and maids and camels and donkeys." Verse 36. Y'all good? Y'all hanging on? All right. Now Sarah, my master's wife, bore a son to my master in her old age, and he has given him all that he has. My master made me swear, saying, "You shall not take a wife for my son from the daughters of Canaanites, in whose land I live. But you shall go to my father's house and to my relatives and take a wife for my son." My goodness. I said to my master, "Suppose the woman does not follow me." He said to me, "The Lord, before whom I have walked, will send his angel with you to make your journey successful. And you will take a wife for my son from my relatives and from my father's house. Then you will be free from my oath when you come to my relatives, and if they do not give her to you, you will be free from my oath." Verse 42. So I came today to the spring and said, "O Lord, the God of my master Abraham, if now you will make my journey on which I go successful, behold, I am standing by the spring, and may it be that the maiden who comes out to draw and to whom I say, please let me drink a little water from your jar, and she will say to me, you drink, and I will draw for your camels also. Let her be the woman whom the Lord has appointed for my master's son. Look at this. Behold, I have finished speaking in my heart. Behold, Rebekah came out and with her jar on her shoulder, and went down to the spring and drew. And I said to her, please let me drink. She quickly lowered her jar from my shoulder and said, drink. I will water your camels also. So I drank, and she watered the camels also. Then I asked her and said, whose daughter are you? And she said, the daughter of Bethuel, Nahor's son, whom Milcah bore to him. And I put the ring on her nose and the bracelets on her wrist. And I bowed low and worshiped the Lord and blessed the Lord, the God of my master Abraham, who had guided me in the right way to take the daughter of my master's kinsman for his son. So now, if you are going to deal kindly and truly with my master, tell me. And if not, let me know that I may turn to the right hand or to the left. Let me get up out of here if that ain't what we do. We're at verse 50, chapter 24, verse 50. Then Laban and Bethuel replied, the matter comes from the Lord. So we cannot speak to you bad or good. Here is Rebekah before you. Take her and go, and let her be the wife of your master's son, as the Lord has spoken. When Abraham's servant heard their words, he bowed himself to the ground before the Lord. The servant brought out articles of silver and articles of gold, and garments, and gave them to Rebekah. He also gave precious things to her brother and to her mother. Then he and the men who were with him ate and drank and spent the night. When they arose in the morning, he said, send me away to my master. But her brother and her mother said, let the girl stay with us a few days, say 10. Afterwards she may go. He said to them, do not delay me, since the Lord has prospered my way. Send me away that I may go to my master. And they said, we will call the girl and consult her wishes. Then they called Rebekah and said to her, will you go with this man? And she said, I will go. Thus they sent away their sister Rebekah and her nurse with Abraham's servant and his men. And they blessed Rebekah and said to her, may you, our sister, become thousands of 10,000s, and may your descendants possess the gates of those who hate them. Then Rebekah arose with her maids, and they mounted the camels and followed the man. So the servant took Rebekah and departed. We're at verse 62, chapter 24, verse 62. Now Isaac came from going to Beer-lahai, for he was living in Negev. Isaac went out to meditate in the fields toward evening, and he lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, camels were coming. Rebekah lifted up her eyes, and when she saw Isaac, she dismounted from the camel. She said to the servant, who is that man walking in the field to meet us? And the servant said, he is my master. Then she took her veil and covered herself. The servant told Isaac all the things that he had done. Then Isaac brought her into his mother Sarah's tent and took Rebekah, and she became his wife, and he loved her. Thus Isaac was comforted after his mother's death. Oh, hey Glenn, good morning. How are you? Man, we are at Genesis chapter 24, verse 25. Chapter 25, I'm sorry. We're at chapter 25 right now, verse 1. Now Abraham took another wife whose name was Keturah. She bore him Zimran and Jokshan and Medan, and Midian, and Ishbak, and Shua. Lord. Jokshan became the father of Sheba and Dedan. And the sons of Dedan were Ashuram, and Letashim, and Lamim. The sons of Midian were Ephah, and Epher, and Hanok, and Abida, and Eldah. All these were the sons of Ketur. Now Abraham gave all that he had to Isaac, but to the sons of his concubines, Abraham gave gifts while he was still living, and sent them away from his son Isaac eastward to the land of the east. These are all the years of Abraham's life that he lived, 175 years. Abraham breathed his last and died in a ripe old age, an old man and satisfied with life, and he was gathered to his people. Then his sons, Isaac and Ishmael, buried him in the cave of Machpelah in the field of Ephron, the son of Zohar the Hittite, facing Mamre, the field which Abraham purchased from the sons of Heth. There Abraham was buried with Sarah his wife, and came about after the death of Abraham. It came about after the death of Abraham that God blessed his son Isaac, and Isaac lived by Beerah. Verse 12. Now these are the records of the generation of Ishmael, Abraham's son, whom Hagar the Egyptian, Sarah's maid, bore to Abraham. And these are the names of the sons of Ishmael, by their names in the order of their birth. Nabat, the firstborn of Ishmael, and Kedar, and Adbeel, and Mibsam, and Mishma, and Duma, and Mesa, Hadad, and Tema, Jator, Naphish, and Kedema. These are the sons of Ishmael, and these are their names, by their villages and their camps, 12 princes according to their tribes. These are the years of the life of Ishmael, 137 years, and he breathed his last and died, and was gathered to his people. They settled from Havilah to Shur, which is east of Egypt, as one goes toward Assyria. He settled in defiance of all his relatives. Verse 19. Now these are the records of the generation of Isaac, Abraham's son. Abraham became the father of Isaac, and Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah, the daughter of Bethuel, the Aramean of Padoram, the sister of Laban, the Aramean, to be his wife. Isaac prayed to the Lord on behalf of his wife, because she was barren. Lord Jesus. And the Lord answered him, and Rebekah his wife conceived. But the children struggled together within her. And she said, if it is so, why then am I this way? So she went to inquire of the Lord. The Lord said to her, 2 nations are in your womb, and 2 people will be separated from your body, and one people shall be stronger than the other, and the other shall serve the younger, and the older shall serve the younger. When her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. Now the first came forth red, all over like a hairy garment, and they named him Esau, after his brother came forth with his hand holding on to Esau's heel. So his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 60 years old when she gave birth to them. When the boys grew up, Esau became a skillful hunter, a man of the field. But Jacob was a peaceful man, living in tents. Now Isaac loved Esau because he had a taste for game. But Rebekah loved Jacob. When Jacob had cooked a stew, Esau came in from the field and he was famished. And Esau said to Jacob, "Please let me have a swallow of that red stuff there, for I am famished." Therefore his name was called Edom. But Jacob said, "First sell me your birthright." Jesus. Esau said, "Behold, I am about to die. So of what use then is the birthright to me?" And Jacob said, "First swear to me." So he swore to him and sold his birthright to Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and lentil stew. And he ate and drank and rose and went on his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright. We are at chapter 26, and we normally do 5 chapters. Let me see. I think I'm going to end here. And I will come back on later, because I got to knock this out. This is going to be good, y'all. We was talking about when when Abraham, then we read the chapters up ahead, somebody had come in and, man, this is better than Housewives, any reality TV that you can look at. They was doing some stuff back then. So yeah, we're going to end right here. I pray that y'all have enjoyed the reading of this word. I am going to come back on later, and we're going to knock out some more of this. Genesis, I'm trying my best. I don't know if we're going to get there, but I'm trying. That's my goal, to be done with Genesis by the end of May. So yeah, I'm going to come back on today, and we're going to do some more reading. But I pray that y'all have enjoyed the reading. I got to get out of here. I got to get ready to go into the office. But y'all be blessed the rest of this day. I do want to end in prayer. Lord, we thank you for this day. We thank you for what you have already done, for what you have already started in this day, God. We thank you for it. We bless your name, God. I pray for the people that is on here and that is listening, God. I pray that you would give them even more desire for you, for the things of you, God. Whatever you have called them to do, God, make it aware. Let them know, God, what you've called them to do, who you have called them to be, what their name is, God. Call them by their name, God. Give them an experience with you, Father God.